Right, we're here again, and we're talking about the correct scores again. I did a video the other day about correct scores. I've done quite a few, to be honest, because I do get people and members on a Patreon asking why I seem to prefer the correct score. Well, the thing is, it's a no-brainer. I'd say if you get it right, but you can get it right. I mean, your losses on it can be very low, and your gains can be high. Depends how you play it, but you just have to know how to do it. But what I'll do is just randomly, I'll give you an example. So we'll have a look at Premier League, and we'll have a look at the results on Premier League, the recent ones. I'll give you an idea, because when we do the correct scores, if you see my other video where I used betangel software, which allows you to kind of like, well, I think, what did I cover now? I think I covered like 6 score lines for under a £5, something like that. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description for a screenshot of the YouTube video, if I remember. Anyway, on that one, it allowed us, when we use that software, it allows us to cover like 0-0 as well, for like a scratch trade, kind of, so you don't lose anything. But anyway, have a look at that video, that explains it more. But we kind of cover score lines like 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-0. That kind of thing. Might go a bit more if it's a strong favourite, but if it goes to 3-0 or 3-1, we still move his money along. That's how it works. I'll just show you. So if we look at these games, just an example, these are on Premier League what's already played, all results. So you've got, I mean, on these, I don't know, only by looking at them, you don't know who they got down as favourite. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you will just by looking, but just an example, you don't know who favourite is, we're just looking at them randomly. So we've got the Brighton first. Now, we do tend to favour, when we're doing correct scores, we do tend to try and favour the home team, the home playing team, and that's why we like to know whether they're a strong favourite or what. We like to look at things what we think are going to be under 3.5 goals, because that helps as well. That's all the process what we do. But again, just looking at these randomly. So first you've got 1-0. You'd have either won on that, because we'd have had that on a score line, or you'd have moved some money, a bit more money, so you might have got a good price on that. Or you might have you might have laid that score off to try and get some on 2-1 if you thought it was going to be 2-1. So the likelihood of you 1-1 is you've either made something, or you've not lost anything, or you've made a little bit, because you've put the money on the 2-1. So that one would have been clean on that one. The 0-1, that's debatable again, because we don't have 0-1. But like we said, we always go for the stronger favourite and playing at home. So if that one was a strong favourite at the time, playing at home, then depending when that goal was scored, they'd have presumed that there was going to be another goal from the home team. So what you'd have moved some money onto 1-1. So what I'm trying to say is you probably could have got out with a small loss on that, or none, because you'd have made some money on next scoreline. That makes sense. Again, you need to look back on some of the videos. Also, depending when that come through, definitely if it were early, they'd have expected another goal from favourite, if it were home favourite. And if it were late in game, say that were towards the end of the game, I don't know when it were, I haven't looked at this one, then you would have got out with some profit, because you'd covered your 0-0 and they'd have been expecting a goal at some point. So that's that one. The 0-0, again, that would have been a scratch trade. So you might have made some, because what you need to remember is when it keeps 0-0, as the game goes on in like the first half, the 1-0 prices will start to come down. So you would be able to get a bit of profit out of that if you thought the game if it was a slow game. So again, on your 0-0s, you've chance of making some money on them, depending on how game plays, but it definitely comes in a little bit. Another 0-0, so like I say, you'd have made a little bit on that, not a lot, if you'd have decided to come out, or not had a loss. 2-0, you'd definitely got something on that one, if you'd have played it right. 1-0, you've got something on that one. 1-1, again, possibly something on that one again, or a scratch trade, not lose anything. 2-1, a definite one again. 1-2, now with that one, again, what you'd have done is depending how you've gone on and how you'd moved your money about, when it gets to 1-1, if that's the way it would have gone at some point, obviously, then when it gets when it gets to 1-1, if you're on that scoreline, what I always say is, what you need to think about is, can it go to 1-2? Or is it going to go to 2-1? So that's when you move your money about again. So on this one, which I've done before, if you'd have got a loss on this, if you hadn't have got yourself out or moved your money about really good, you'd have had a small loss on this, because you should have known when it got to 1-1 to move your money about and cover those scorelines, the 1-2, 2-1. Again, got 2-0. Again, that's a good one. You'd have got that. Let's see what that does. It'll come up. Oh, it's gone on the screen. I'll leave that for now. What we got again? Got a 0-0. We've got a 2-2. Again, that depends when this other goal was scored and which way around it were. I haven't looked at that one, so it depends again how you're moving your money about. You got a 4-3, which is quite a big one. Again, depends when these goals were scored. Well, let's have a look. So another 4-3. Let's have a look at it played out. Right, so quite early. I hate these adverts. So what we got? Let's have a look. What was the first one? So it was 0-1. So that would have thrown you out a little bit, but then it went to. You see, when you do get this scoreline, obviously first you've got to think: is it going to go to 0-2? Again, it depends who's favourite on this game at the time. Because if you go a strong home favourite, they would expect another goal coming through, so you would definitely get something out of this 1-1. And then again, you decide what you're going to do from that, because it went to 1-2. You'd probably come out for if you hadn't made anything on this, you'd probably come out for a small loss on that one. So it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So let's go back. What was the other one we're going to look at? I'll look at the 2-2, weren't I? So look at the 2-2. Again, we're in a good position on this, even though it went against him. It went wrong for him, wrong goal. But that was good for us. And then it went to 1-1. And like I said, at this point, you'd have moved some money about anyway. You'd have had to decide what you were going to do here, and then it went to 1-2. So you should have, obviously, when it went to this, you'd have moved a bit of money about and covered this scoreline. You'd have covered to 2-1 and really should have covered the 1-2. Probably that for a small loss. You can do this on software really easy as well. So even though it sounds like I'm trying to make these up, I'm not. This is how you work it. There's plenty of people, plenty of members that do it this way. And even if you do make a loss on them, if you don't do it right, you've made money on other ones. So let's look at this one, because I'm looking at the worst case ones, 3-2. Look again what we could have done on this one. Yeah, so again, bad situation. You'd have to make the decision what you're going to do, whether you come out for us. And it would be a small loss, because at that point, again, if it's a strong favourite, they would definitely be expecting another goal. So it wouldn't have gone down too far. You'd have been in a small red. Well, you might even be able to get a little green out of it, because you'd have been expecting this again. And again, if it did go in your favour, you'd be moving your money about to 2-1, 1-2, which went to 2-1. So probably worth coming out then when it gets to that point, because then it could go to 2-2, 3-1, and then it's kind of going out of your range a little bit. Look at one more. What we've got 2, 4, 3, 3-2. You got 3-0. We don't need to look at that one, because we've been alright with that one, because it'd be 1-0, 2-0, and then we'd be moving his money about. So we'd have got something out of that. We'd have either cashed out, what game we're going, or we'll have a look anyway. 7 knows. I think that one were a good one for us. See how quick they scored. So 30 minutes, 1-0. That'd have been great. That's what we want. 30 minutes before they get a goal in. That's lovely. So that'd have moved us on quite a good bit. And then when did we get next one? 65th minute, 2-0. So yeah, we'd have been well in then. We'd have been well away. We'd have been alright, good in profit. So yeah, well, that's cleared it up a little bit. I know it might seem like on some of those are kind of like making it look good, but it's all about moving that money about. And if you've got that strong home favourite, under 3.5 goals, it should go in your favour for moving your money about. And that's what we talk about all the time. But better with betangel software. I'm not sponsored by them, wish I were. I wish you to to just move your money about more. You know what I mean? Put like 0-0 as like a scratch trade. As if you've seen the other video, you'll see what I mean. Yeah, so that's the way to do it. So hopefully it makes some kind of sense for you. But yeah, I'll let you take that in. Come across to his Patreon. I'm going to be putting some more bits on. We've got his weekly selections on, and a few of the evolution tree, even though there weren't any fantastic ones, but we've got his correct scores and everything like that. So yeah, go across and have a look, and I'll speak to you all later.